When we're looking at the IBS type issues, we need to understand problems that can come about from a bacterial overgrowth. And we'll look at this study here. A link between irritable bowel syndrome and fibromyalgia may be related to findings on lactulose breath testing. And that's what they kind of use sometimes to look to see if there's a SIBO or a small intestinal bacterial overgrowth issue going on. And this study found that a lot of people with this fibromyalgia issue also showed that they had SIBO. So we're looking at issues like IBS and SIBO. And again, these are digestive malfunctions. These are issues going wrong with this digestion. But what's really important to understand is that there's some types of bacteria, these bad guys that come in and set up camp in the small intestine where they shouldn't be, they also can put out lactic acid. It's a byproduct of them creating energy, is this lactic acid. It's actually a different type of lactic acid. It's D-lactic acid. Some people might call that right spin lactic acid. But the problem is it can be a difference between the body converting the lactic acid to glucose or having to excrete it. And the D-lactic acid has to be excreted. It can't be converted to glucose. Now, when we're trying to convert this lactic acid to glucose, I have a paper below that shows us that when someone's leaning on this insulin resistance side, that has the ability to restrict that pathway. So it makes it harder for the person to convert that lactic acid to glucose. Now even more lactic acid is going to accumulate, right? And it's going to make those tissues more acidic and more pain. But also if somebody has an overgrowth issue and that type of bacteria happens to be creating a lot of this D-lactate, that's going to accumulate as well. So now there's different mechanisms that are accumulating even more lactic acid when we're looking at a SIBO type issue. So if someone has some type of overgrowth, either in the stomach or the small intestine, or a dysbiosis where all these bad guys have come into the large intestine and they've kind of taken over and it's just not a good neighborhood anymore, then taking steps to reduce that overgrowth are going to be a very big deal, especially if the type of bacteria is creating all of this lactic acid on top of what the body may already be dealing with.